Hey guys, just wanted to take a couple quick moments just to film a little something. Broadcasting live from the outskirts of this prison planet, watching the motionless shuffle of warm bodies yet again. It's just, the world is just getting more and more droned, and it's like my access, or like my search for deeper meaning has increased, but in such a way that I can't even begin to describe it. What's happening with me internally has been and will always be a spiritual phenomenon that is ever present, and it's ongoing. It's something that I hold near and dear to me that I can't explain to most people. And I think people like me that are enduring this type of phenomenon in a similar fashion probably feel the same way. Like, this is internal. We have to balance and be on our P's and Q's external. It's like we're enduring a spiritual existential phenomenon all the time that is near and dear to us and personal, but it's just not easily expressed. So it's just a matter of upholding business as usual to fit in with everybody else while we incur all of these emotional responses and phenomenons pertaining to the spiritual nature of this event. So it's all very near and dear to me. It's just so hard to express and get anybody to care about due to the level of manipulation and just the droned out status of the hive mind in the world. It's just all encroaching and always encouraging us to just exist on the surface and not think as much as we should be, because this is quite odd and perturbing. There's nothing real or eventful going on in my arena. Perhaps there is in other people's lives and they're not feeling the burn like I am or experiencing life on the same terms as me. But I'm here to tell you, this is a real spiritual phenomenon happening, like I always say, and there are things that we can do to point it out. So just try to do what you can. But most of us are just simply stuck in life during the simulation of life with what they hope to be predetermined outcomes and invisible barriers that prevent us from actually becoming enlightened on what's happening. Because this is weird and terrible and existential for a free-thinking person who feels a lot. Why not make it the better sort of weird? Like, I can't wait to actually turn to another human being and say, wow, man, the world is fucked and stupid, isn't it? Now that we've gotten that part out, let's delve deep and let's focus on the silver linings, because there are some. Especially if you're a Gnostic spiritualist, which I am now as a result of all of this happening. It's been quite eye-opening to me. But, this invisible barriers and system of life is preventing the meaningful flow of forward production. Like, we can't even get any ideas off the ground because there's so many plays against any one thing happening in the world. Anything that would point to this phenomenon being real is never going to be encouraged by the powers that be, because they have a vested interest in keeping us lulled into a false reality that stifles us and prevents us from actually having a life if we have creative ideas and goals and we want to put good ideas into action. They don't like that. They want us trapped in these invisible barriers, stifled and disconnected. They don't want the world to be connected. This is all a big ploy to disconnect the world and keep us at arm's length and encourage that nothing too progressive ever happened, and that we're victims of a perilous fate that we can't avoid. So that's horrible, but the intended goal of alienation and isolation and repression is going to lead to losses and problems in the world. This is throwing off the flow of human life and torturing people who, quite frankly, don't deserve it. It feels to me as if this has always been a way of torturing free thinkers and intellectuals so they don't battle the system of life that they're perceiving. They just want us to all be victims of it, that go away from it if we can't handle it and we get a little too brazen and outspoken. Fuck that logic. I seem to think there are many active measures being taken to silence people so they don't blow a whistle or they don't live outside of these predetermined prison planet rules. Like, this is literally a soul farm, this planet that is built on human suffering that will never get better. We just have to try to live better through it, and then we can maybe make some strides on a new way of life and a new earth. That's what I foresee happening, is that there's going to be a lessening, and then it's going to lead to a new structure and a new way of life that adaptable sentient people will catch on to more than those who are unlike us. But what really keeps people at bay is this trauma and fear-based mind control. The average human mind is pretty weak to begin with, but after all this wear down and manipulation and so much rigid structure that got presented into their lives, they are just stuck. They are static. That's the way I view the average person in this simulation of life, is that they are static. They are not going to be pliable or be able to do anything too different to deviate from the norm. So therefore, those people are prohibitive if you are a progressive thinker who wants to do some different things in your life. You're going to have to think outside the box and accept that your opinion won't be popular with stupid people or with evil people, of which the world is quite full to the brim of. So keep that in mind. But many of our worries and fears and doubts are going to be downplayed and unacknowledged in this new reality that we're in, despite them being valid concerns and quite legitimate. Like, the less dots that are connected is better for them. They don't ever want the mystery to be solved or for us to find any footing on the side of understanding, ever. Like, we literally exist in a world that is thinning and things are regressing, and they hope that we never acknowledge or notice it or sense that, wow, this isn't normal. This needs to be discussed. This needs to be acted upon. They never want us to reach that peak. They want us to just be treading water silently. But as time marches along, bits of the truth are going to rise to the surface, and it's going to be unfucking deniable, a lot of the things that occurred. And many are just going to go against the status quo, and that's going to create a counterculture, I believe, that will acknowledge the spiritual event as well as the problems in the world. It will be unpopular with the silent power structure the way it is, but I don't see a future where we can even have meaning or purpose if we're not fighting against what holds us back so much. I believe they will not get what they want, and the score will settle at some point in history once there's less invisible barriers. But that's just going to coincide with a crumbling of the infrastructure in the society as we know it. And pretty much the way I see it, it's never been more of a challenge to exist in a normal fashion, so we're going to have to think a little bit differently. And I've figured out that, to exist, one must accept concessions and limitations. You must use your mind to question everything that's presented to you. Everything that is encouraged or is pumped into your mind is there to give you the false realization of what life truly is and what really truly is happening. And the only way to preserve your sense of peace is to live defiantly and to never be afraid to be self-aware of the situation. You just need to find some time to actually be self-aware to forward think, because there's always going to be orchestrated distractions and people it's prohibitions. It's literally, for people like me, we are in orchestrated outcomes most of the time. Like, there's great effort and care taking into upholding this weird false normal reality for us. We are never privy to too much out loud. The flow of good information will forever prevent that, and there's a lot of care taken into stopping any element of truth from becoming too prominent in people's minds. They're just not going to want to encourage that type of thing. But be adaptive and open to change, and expect that there will be opposition and criticism if you have good points to make. They don't want to embrace anybody who makes good points and thinks for themselves. If the focus will forever be on the surface level. But learn to be okay with your own company and never live in absolutes. In this reality, I hate to break it to you, you're not really going to get what you want. Most of us will be lucky to get what we need. But there's many people who are put in unlivable situations that are orchestrated, that are quite dismal. And those are the stories that never get shed light on. Those are the people that we never think about again, that never get their dues. There's been plenty of people like that on this planet, I'm sure, that have been driven away and phased out because of this system of life not embracing them as the people that they are. I believe we're going to notice more and more, like, where is everybody? Where did that person go? Like, we'll think about it after a period of time, but it won't stand out to us right away, which is what they want. So keep that in mind. Just try something different. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different. Same logic applies. But ultimately, just keep the peace and uphold your mind state, because you never know, there could be a break in this, and we can at least be ourselves and express things tangibly. But the overlords of the situation just simply don't like that. So just battle within your barriers and be yourself. Peace.